Hi, good evening. Good evening, Guyana and the Caribbean region as an extension. My name is Joey Adams, and I just come out as a layman to give my point of view on the issue of Venezuela threatening to attack Guyana. Let me just have a moment of silence for us for the fallen soldiers in the helicopter crash. Yes. So this advice or this point of view comes from me, and I'm generally a radical person. So I think it needs to be said. I haven't heard anybody come up with this point of view thus far. But let me qualify before I continue. This is not aimed at the government. It's not a government issue. This is not financial advice. This is not aimed at Venezuelans living in Guyana, for I have a lot of close Venezuelan friends here and in the region. This is not pointed to the Venezuelans generally living in Venezuela. This is against Maduro and his military, those madmen, right? So please don't take this as anything other than a layman putting forward his arguments, and I've known to be wrong most of the time, so this doesn't have to be right. Anyhow, we know that Venezuela is threatening to take away the Essequibo region, which is part of Guyana and part of our newfound wealth. So basically, let me start out by saying that at the end of the day, as much as we feel that we have evolved, human beings have evolved and found religion, that we are still primal creatures, and instinct is what we work with. And kill or be killed, and the weak shall suffer. So those are the principles of life, and it has not changed, right? So I have been engaging in a lot of conversations with friends and by extension other people, and I'm very taken aback that the pessimistic view that Guyanese have, that is like Goliath, David and Goliath has never happened, is fictitious, and there was no instances in history where David was able to defeat Goliath. So everybody I've spoken to, and people who I consider friends, I've realized that they come from a spineless, cowardly position. A lot of them are fearful. A lot of them have even given up Essequibo without a shot being fired. And that's very disappointing to me. Very, very, very disappointing. So much so that it made me think. And when I expressed my views, the response was, oh, when we hear people speak like you, we are scared. It scares us, So let me say that I do believe that we should exhaust all the legal avenues, ICJ, etc., etc. But I am working on the principle whereby the weak shall perish and the strong will survive, because it is survival of the fittest. At any level of the game, it is survival of the fittest. And that's the position we are in now. And right now, Maduro is playing a psychological warfare with us. He hasn't done anything. He just put in troops and making a lot of hoopla, and he's feeling the temperature to see whether we are up for a fight or not. It's like you walking down the road and someone wants to rob you. They're going to size you up first, and they might make a loud sound to see how you react. And of course the timing is all to do with our newfound resource with the oil, so we know that's what he's coming for. But my friends, who are pretty much educated and you know, whole offices in Guyana, and I always look up to them. But the rhetoric coming out of them is defeatism. And let me just give you a definition of defeatism. The attitude, policy, and conduct of a person who admits, expects, or no longer resists defeat, as because of a conviction that further struggle or effort is futile. It's a pessimistic resignation. So that's what I'm getting, a lot of weakness out of Guyana. And I hope that Maduro and his men aren't getting that feeling from us. But that's neither here nor there with what I want to address. And I have a few points here. The Monroe Doctrine. The U.S. has always walked quietly with a big stick in the Americas. And what is that big stick? What is that big stick that the U.S. carries that everyone is afraid of? That big stick is nuclear weapons. There you go, I said it, nuclear weapons. Now, the treaty whereby they wanted to disarm nuclear weapons and stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons is a treaty of prohibition of nuclear weapons. Has not been signed by the US, that's their big stick, and it has not been signed nor ratified by Russia either, that's their big stick. So this is my proposition. Let's take a pin with all the good things that we do with this oil money and buy 4 nuclear weapons. And I ain't joking, I'm serious. 4 nuclear weapons. And see whether the threat of having 2 nuclear weapons pointed at Venezuela and 2 nuclear weapons pointed at Suriname. Let's see who's going to mess with us. Because in the worst case scenario, the war, the type of war has changed. And it's no more boots on the ground. War right now is done by remote control, done by drones, shooting missiles, fighter jets, etc., so forth, right? So in the worst case scenario, we don't need to send troops out on the ground to risk their lives at the border. And at a fish shop a few days ago, I spoke with a soldier, and he told me if they send me to the front line, it's like I'm going to be committing suicide. Because we can't stand up to that force. And I agree. We can't stand up to that force. And even if we start militarizing now and buying jets and all of that, it ain't going to happen in no hurry. We have the money and we have the potential to borrow the money. Buy 4 nuclear weapons. And now let me tell you, somebody going to ball collateral damage if we were to shoot it over into Venezuela. Did anybody ball collateral damage when the US was bombing Belgrade, former Yugoslavia? Nobody balled collateral damage. Anybody balling collateral damage now that Israel is bombing Palestine, Russia, Ukraine? Ain't nobody concerned about collateral damage. So I'm saying, if worst case scenario, we lick 2 bombs over there and just wipe Venezuela off the face of the earth, ain't no collateral damage. We could hold our border or we could go over and take Venezuela. Now, me saying go over and take Venezuela, I'm saying let them know we're serious and let's not risk the lives of our soldiers. Let's go to the top, drop 2 nuclear bombs, wipe them out. And if you notice, same with the weakness and the survival of the fittest. Now that we seem weak and we on the ground, Suriname kicking us now. They want that part of the river. They want the triangle. They kicking us now. So just point 2 nuclear bombs over there. Let everybody clean up the act. Because at the end of the day, we found oil. And it's like any resource, anything, anybody. If you have a resource, you have money, you have gold, you have to have the strength, the temerity to defend it. You must defend it. So now that we have it, it's not just having it, we have to defend it. And that's what we are called upon to do now. We are called upon to defend our resource so that we're not parted from it. So now we have to do what we have to do. And I say it's a radical suggestion, a lot of people are gonna laugh. But I say we have the money now, let us buy 4 nuclear weapons, even if it's just as a deterrent to keep those greedy neighbors at bay. Let's do that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. A couple other things. So what I've noticed, going back to the rhetoric, we have noticed a lot of weakness and a lot of lame, spineless talk from friends. And they all feel like we are beaten. And some of them, I had a conversation with a guy who told me, oh, well, how are the rice farmers in Essequibo going to sell their rice to Georgetown when the Essequibo becomes a line between the two countries, a border, and how is that export gonna go? And it made me sick to my stomach to hear a Guyanese speak like that. Oh God, man, even if you're bluffing, bluff it, show some kind of strength. Jeez, man. So that's why I say, I listen to all the arguments, I listen to all the weak people. And I say let's be strong and let's be practical too. Don't send nobody to die. Don't fly too much helicopters down by the border in bad weather. Let's just ease back and let us get 4 nuclear weapons and let the big stick talk for us. So again, in respect and sympathies to the family of the soldiers who perished in the helicopter crash, I want to avoid further catastrophe and further lives. Let's transcend the war games and let's go to the highest level. Let's get 4 nuclear weapons and let's defend what's ours. And let's cut out the weak talk. Let's cut out the defeatism. Let's even bluff it if we gotta bluff it. To be strong, let's do it. That's my position. And ain't nothing new. If you call me a fool, I'm a fool. But what I could tell you, I'm not a coward. I'm not a coward, Guyana. Peace out. One love.